What is up? Gear Squad, Shane Gear here, bringing you another video. It's Summer Game Fest, y'all. It's Summer Game Fest. It's that E3 time. Even though E3 is not around anymore, it's game time. There are so many games being announced, trailers being dropped, gameplay to be shown, and I was fortunate enough to be able to fly out to LA in California, Los Angeles, and watch Summer Game Fest showcase with Jeff Keighley live in person. So yes, I did get to see Nick Cage in person, which is absolutely ridiculous, but incredible and amazing. So obviously I'm not here by myself. I'm here with one of my best friends at this point. Let's just be honest. Gil, man, you and I be hanging out like every day,
all the time.
let's be honest, all right? Gil Trosty Mad Pack, welcome.
Howdy doody.
Yeah, I'm really pumped. Gil, he streamed the Summer Game Fest. He was able to stream some parts of it. Yeah, so if you have any interest in seeing, Gil's thoughts live, you can always go and check out the VOD on his Twitch, the homie Gil. So go ahead and check that out. But let's dive in. I'm gonna let Gil kind of kick off the conversation, tell us his top 5, and give us a rundown on what he was interested about and why. I'll give my top 5, and then we'll just round it out with those honorable mentions. So let's not waste any more time. Gil, let's hear your top 5 games that were announced and talked about, showcased at the Summer Game Fest 2023.
So I think we both have the same number 5, which is Witchfire. And you've been following it longer than I have, but I've been following it more recently. This game looks awesome. Mm-hmm. It's an FPS magic shooter, Destiny-like, but a lot more blood. And it just looks awesome. I'm not as hyped as others on this list, but I do want to play it when it comes out.
It did make top 5 though, and
yes.
When I say there are a lot of games, there were dozens and dozens of
a
games.
Lot.
So even though it's on number 5, which I'll talk about that when I get to my list too, that's pretty big.
Yes. So next was FF7 Ever Crisis. So Ever Crisis, for those who don't know, is going to be a Final Fantasy VII mobile game that is going to be a turn-based RPG, but however, it's going to be separate turn-based RPGs for the entire compilation of Final Fantasy VII. So we're talking original game, Crisis Core, Before Crisis, and Advent Children, and Dirge of Cerberus. Yes, they're not all. I don't think they're all going to be coming out at the same time, but all 5 of those will be playable in a turn-based RPG form on your phone.
This couldn't get more confusing. If you saw the trailer, there were amazing Advent Children Final Fantasy VII remake level cutscenes, and then it goes into this random chibi art style, and then it goes into a random high quality Final Fantasy VII remake or Crisis Core art style with the turn-based gameplay. It is all over the place, but it's very exciting nonetheless.
Yes. Next on my list is going to be Lies of P, or as I like to call it, Pinocchio Bloodborne. So it's a Souls-like game set in the Pinocchio universe, but it's very dark, Victorian, very Bloodborne, Souls inspired. And I've been following this game for a long time, and I am just so very excited because I love Souls games. Elden Ring was actually my first, and then I went back and played the rest because of how good Elden Ring was. So I am very excited. Yeah. I am very excited to see what Lies of P does.
Yeah, Definitely looks cool. Definitely a game I'm gonna watch. Shout out to Archaic Phoenix or Delta Phoenix now. In the Phoenix rises constantly in our Discord with different names. But shout out to Phoenix and shout out to Iron Taxi, because I know the two of them are also very excited about Liza P. I could imagine that folks like Mexican Synth also excited about Liza P. Possibly Pouty Cube might be interested as well, because it's definitely a Soulsborne type game, but it has a level of polish that a lot of other Soulsborne games don't have. Obviously the most polished ones being the classic FromSoft games, and then probably after that, even though it's a little bit of a branch off, but the Neo games are probably the next closest, more of a mix of like Ninja Gaiden plus Souls games. But either way, Liza P looks absolutely phenomenal, and I'm glad it made your list, because no surprise, honestly, for me.
Yeah. And then I know we also have the same number 2, Spider-Man 2.
Oh yeah!
Holy shit, am I excited for this game. I played the first one, and I also played Miles Morales when I got my PS5, and then I played the first one again when the PS5 version came out. I just could not be more excited for this game. Kraven looks great. We're getting like the punished Peter Parker. And Venom is not Eddie Brock, which I've seen a lot of mixed reception online, even though that was pretty clearly hinted at the first game.
Did they play the first game?
But I don't know what else there's to say at this point. It's gonna be good, man.
Yeah, it's Spider-Man.
Very excited.
Insomniac. What a glow up. Not to say that, Insomniac games have always been good. But if you look at their history, we're talking about Ratchet and Clank, which is a cool, kind of more family-friendly game that has amazing polish for it. Very PlayStation, quality title. But again, more for family style there. And then, they made a couple games out there that, were either for Xbox or for multi-platform. But when they came back to PlayStation, talk about a glow up. They got handed one of the best licenses on the planet
ever.
And they did it such justice that it is probably one of the best adaptations of anything ever. Period.
In my opinion, Spider-Man 2018 is the best Spider-Man we've ever had.
I don't think that is a hot take by any...
Including the movies.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, 100%.
100%. That's not me shitting on, Tobey Maguire or Tom Holland or anything like that. But, man... That game is so good.
Yeah, and it's truly their own. I think that's one of the amazing things too, is that Spider-Man is really their own. It's not some classic Marvel story. It is, but it really is theirs. Like Insomniac, is working very hard for their narrative to be theirs.
Yeah.
So, this is part of a new multiverse, line. And, that's just so amazing for them to be able to make their own story here and make it cohesive, and for all of us to be so excited about it still. So,
yeah, and Yuri Lowenthal is going like full Sasuke this game, and I'm here for it.
Yeah. I'll have to say I did not replay it, so I won't be used to the new face. But luckily, it's been long enough that I barely remember what his original face looked like. Granted, I'm now saying he's now popping up. And I will also say that I've gone through a face change once before, and that was Infamous to Infamous 2, and it did rub me the wrong way. But that was also a voice change. And so Yuri Lowenthal's a great voice actor, so, same voice, new face, I'm okay with it. And I understand why they did it. I'm not sitting here complaining like some other folks I know online, but
I don't think, for at least for me, it was not that big of a deal. Plus, you're playing Spider-Man, he's going to have the mask on most of the time.
Right.
So,
not too concerned about it. Just, one of those things where we'll see how quickly. The good thing is I have not played the amazing standalone kind of DLC style game for Miles Morales, which is good for me because I'm excited to play that kind of in the interim. I also didn't play the DLC. And I've been debating whether to play the DLC. I think I did go back and start it, and then I was like, I don't feel like beating it.
I played the DLC. They were good. I mean, they were great, but they didn't like add a crazy amount to the game. It was just kind of like side stories. One of them I think is going to be kind of important for this next game as like a subplot thing, but
maybe I'll have you talk to me about them and see. I'll see how far I got, and if it's like, oh yeah, I could probably beat this real quick, or maybe I'll do it. And if not, I might ask you to just kind of give me the DL.
Yeah.
Cool.
All right.
Number one, world premiere.
let me preface something before talking about this. I wish I was still streaming because I was losing my mind.
Yeah.
I was like, what am I watching right now? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. FF7 Remake is one of my favorite games ever.
Yep.
I don't think it's in my top 10, but it's definitely in my top 20.
We got it. One day we'll rehash that because I'm interested in hearing where it fits.
Yeah, the first one is in my top 10, the original, just because it holds a special place for me.
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, I have been. Me and Shane have both been raving about the first one.
100%.
Because I just recently played the Intergrade DLC back in like January because I put it off for a long time.
It's so good, right?
And I was like, oh my god.
It's so good.
I love this game. Yeah, so... And then getting to play all that again on the PS5, which I did replay the game on PS5 after playing it on PS4. So, yeah. I'm in love with that game, and when it came to the end, and it said early 2024 to PS5 on
2 discs. What?
I'm like, so this game's big.
Bro, 2 discs.
You can't even fit it on one.
Gonna have to delete Modern Warfare with its 500 gigs.
Yeah.
My God.
I was like, I cannot believe that. And like, what? Does that mean the third one's gonna be 2 discs too?
Yeah. When's the last time you played a game that had multiple?
Oh, like. I don't even remember.
Yeah, like I mean,
I don't think I have.
Yeah, I mean that's like that's not even, it wasn't even a popular thing back in the day. It's not like it was a common thing, but only like once or twice was it like, oh yeah, and on PS2 there are 3 discs, and you're like, wait, what? And it's usually like RPGs, like really long RPGs or something. But I mean, that has definitely been a thing of the past. So the fact that there is a bold statement to say 2 discs, and now we're wondering how much of that is cutscenes, of course. But if you've ever played Metal Gear Solid 4, I'm okay with 90% of the game being cutscenes. As long as I get my juicy story in there, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is probably my most anticipated game currently.
I don't want this video to go too long here, so let's go ahead and jump into my top 5. Now, the good thing is, Gil's already gone over quite a bit of these, so we won't completely dive in on the ones that, he's already mentioned. And number 5 starts with one that he mentioned, which is Witchfire. Like he said, I have been following Witchfire for a minute. I remember the first time I saw it, it was literally like a dev diary of animations. It was like, look at the animation for the reload. Look at the animation for the gun firing. And I was like, this game looks like it's going to be good. Like just period. Like it just looks like, I love dev diaries. I like seeing, a game start from nothing and come into something. And boy, I was just like, there's something about the movement. There's something about the fluidity. There's something about the gunplay, and then how that matches with the abilities. Magic and guns just go so well together, which is why I love Destiny 2. I don't love Destiny because of its sci-fi-ness. I like it because of its sci-fantasy-ness. Right, and that fantasy Space Wizards works really, really well. Space Wizards, Space Knights, Space Assassins, it works really well. But that classic, more grounded medieval fantasy mixed with guns again, I am just very, very excited. And I know Gil and I both have likened this to Destiny, and I think we only do that because we're just such huge Destiny players. But I mean, I'm not saying this game is going to be like Destiny. I think it's actually maybe closer to Doom meets Dark Souls. And I say Dark Souls in not in the sense that it's going to be hard like Dark Souls, but just the setting. But yeah, Witchfire looks amazing. If you haven't really looked into it, definitely recommend taking a look at some of the trailers and such. And then, one of the greatest parts of Summer Game Fest was we got a lot of information. And for Witchfire, it's coming out September 20th. This is the first time we've gotten a release date, and that was huge for me. And so this year, I'm going to be playing Witchfire, and I'm just holding my breath and really excited and hoping that it's going to be a great game. I don't care if it's 2 hours. I don't care if it's 6 hours. I don't care if it's 20 hours. I'm just hoping whatever gameplay is there is just as good as it looks. All right, that's Witchfire. Number 4 is Mortal Kombat 1. I don't know what is happening in the fighting games community, but y'all have to be freaking out right now. I just was talking to Gil before this call, and the fighting games community is eating right now. You guys have Street Fighter 6, which has like near perfect scores all across the board. I'm thinking about picking it up just to play the story, and I am not a big fighting games guy. You've got MK1, and I'm sitting here like, what is next Soul Calibur? Like, we've got Tekken coming along the way too. Like, I mean, it is just a great time to be a fighting games fan, especially when you realize where these games are sitting. Like, you have Tekken that's coming out, you have Street Fighter 6, which was really all about, being able to approach the game in an easier way for newcomers, as well as keeping the, incredible, detailed intensity that they have for old players as well. But, I mean, you're looking at Mortal Kombat 1, and literally, it's not a reimagining. It's still a continuation of the storyline. It's just literally a rebirth, if you will, of the universe, which we're not going to get into the nerdy lore of MK because I didn't even know about all that lore. But man, it just was so juicy. Really excited to see what kinds of things they do with it. And if the story is as banger as I think it's going to be, I'm definitely getting MK1 and playing through it. And I have never been a Mortal Kombat fan. So a shout out to that team because, man, did it just look so good. It looked so good. Well, that's MK1. All right, number 3 was a big surprise for me. I was talking to Iron Tax the other day. This is my roommate, Anthony, shout out. And he was like, are you excited for Yakuza? And I was like, nah, not really, man. Like, I don't know, man. Yakuza kind of fell off for me, and now, Yakuza's only this like turn-based game, and now you're either playing Yakuza or you're playing Judgment. But oh my god. Now we have Like a Dragon Gaiden, and I believe it's Like a Dragon Gaiden, A Man with No Name. I think that's what it's called. And literally, it has Kazuma in it, the main character of Yakuza. This was really special for me because this seems like it's time for me to come back to the Yakuza series. Yakuza is so fun. It's so funny. It's got really great story. I'm really excited for this. So I won't dive too much into it. If you know Yakuza, then you're probably just as excited as I am. If not, take a look, see if you might be interested. That arcadey beat 'em up gameplay has always been a big thing for me, and I've always enjoyed it. So fingers crossed that this will get some good ratings, and I'll be playing another Yakuza game very, very soon. So that was number 3, Like a Dragon Gaiden. Number 2, I mean, Gil already talked about it, Spider-Man. Mm-hmm. We don't even have to talk about it. I mean, Spider-Man 2, the black suit, man, Miles, I mean, and I told Gil during the PlayStation Showcase, which, again, Gil streamed, and you could probably watch the VOD if it's still up. During the PlayStation Showcase, I said, wow, PlayStation actually got me to care about Kraven. I've always just seen Kraven as like a really lame villain. And I was like, no, Kraven is now very exciting to me. He sees New York as his ultimate hunting ground, and they did a good job of making me excited for him. So I'm I could not be more excited. I didn't think I would be excited for Kraven, and instead I just thought he'd be a side character while we all really cared about Venom. But no, instead, Kraven is, I think, going to be a really good villain, and I'm excited to see how it all plays out, because it seems like not only does he want to hunt Peter, he also wants to hunt all the other villains. So who knows? We have no clue how this game is going to play out. But that's what's amazing about not having to follow a pre-written story, and they're creating something of their own. So we'll see how it all comes together, but I'm excited for Spider-Man 2. And then, just like Gil, my number one is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I love Final Fantasy's convoluted stories. And that trailer, when you see everybody, like, you know, half dead, and then, you know, Sephiroth's talking about killing, you know, someone, and he's like, well, if I killed her, then who's that? And, you know, obviously we're talking about Tifa, and we're like, what's happening? And, I really think it's amazing. Like, I think Final Fantasy VII, it is in my top 10. Final Fantasy VII Remake, and so I'm hoping that Rebirth can do what God of War Ragnarok did. God of War Ragnarok took the spot of God of War 2018, and it is now my number one game of all time. And so I'm hoping that Final Fantasy VII Rebirth can easily cement Final Fantasy VII Rebirth into one of my top 5 games of all time, because Final Fantasy VII Remake, I gotta redo the calculations here, but, you know, it's one of my favorite games. I don't know where it lands, but yeah, this was a very, very hype, amazing showcase. You're gonna see a bunch of people on Twitter, on YouTube saying it wasn't that good, just like they did for the PlayStation Showcase. But, you know, for me, my expectations were mellow. And, you know, I've been able to mellow out my hype pretty well nowadays. And so to see these games come up was truly, truly amazing. So, yeah. For me, I would say if I had to give this showcase a score, I'm not going to lie to you, 5 out of 5. Seriously, 5 out of 5. What do you think, Gil?
I completely agree. I think, in terms of my enjoyment, I can completely agree. I think, for me personally, this was a lot better than the PlayStation Showcase. But in terms of consistency, 5 out of 5, for sure.
Yeah, it was really great. And just quick notables here, you know, honorable mentions. You know, the show started off with Prince of Persia, and I did want to mention that because Prince of Persia, it's been a long time coming to see that come back, and to see them take on the side-scroller genre once again with a higher level of action gets me really excited. I'm a big fan of side-scroller games, and I think often they don't tap into the potential of the action genre and the action format as much as they could be. So I'm excited to see what Prince of Persia can really do in kind of this new format. It looks pretty great already. So, you know, shout out to that. Path of Exile 2, oh my god. Gil's never played a Diablo game. So I just recently bought 4, haven't started playing it yet, but I've played Path of Exile 1, I've played Diablo 3, and Path of Exile 2 is looking amazing. So after I play Diablo 4, I'm excited to try Path of Exile 2 because who knows which one will be my long-term game. Probably not both, but I'm excited that, you know, it has such an amazing rivalry with Diablo, PoE, and its rival with Diablo 4. So excited about that. Of course, shout out to Honkai Star Rail. You know, I believe that was a trailer we've already seen before. But
dude, I was lit for it coming to PS5.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, okay, hold up. Like, I play it on my phone, I play it on my computer, and to be able to sit down on my couch and play it on my giant TV is gonna be interesting. Because, you know, sometimes I want to just show my roommate what I'm up to or what my group looks like and stuff. So, you know, that true multi-platform. I mean, it's gonna be the first game, you know, kind of its kind outside of course, Genshin. You know, and I'm excited for it. I'm excited for it for sure. Sandland, I know a lot of people might not know what that is, but it's a Akira Toriyama story that I actually thought was coming out as a movie, and maybe it still is, but it's also, or at least we know, it's coming out as a game. And I'm excited for that. It looked very open world. It looked very different from anything that I've seen from kind of the anime game genre. So, you know, shout out there, and Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball. You know, it's just an exciting thing to see. Alan Wake, not my my type of game, but very excited to see hopefully either Gil play it or, again, shout out to Phoenix because I know he loves Alan Wake 1 and, of course, Control. So Alan Wake 2, I know he's very, very excited about. Baldur's Gate looks amazing. Obviously, shout out again to Ein Taxi. Anthony, I know he's going to play that. Banishers, which looked like, to me at least, it looked like The Witcher ghost hunting. So I'm hoping Banishers is really good. And then there are a bunch of other games that came up that I'm interested in seeing, right? Is that King Arthur game going to be good? Still kind of waiting for Wayfinders to kind of give us an update and see some updated gameplay and see if that's going to be good. I mean, I did play a beta and I thought it was pretty great, but, let's see where else it goes. So great showcase. As always, I don't want this video to be an entire hour, but the fact that we're already kind of up to 30 minutes is telling me that we should probably give it a rest. Gil, thank you so much. Honestly, even just for me, it's always nice to kind of decompress after watching a showcase like this and letting the hype kind of settle into like reality. So thank you for going over the games. If you all have games that you're interested in, please let us know in the comment section down below. It's been a while since I've been able to chat with y'all in the comments. I hope to be streaming soon, so check me out on Twitch, twitch.tv/ChaingearGaming. And of course, check out Gil as well, the homie Gil on Twitch. Yeah, anything else you want to say to the people, Gil, before we peace out?
No.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys online. And of course, I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Bye-bye.